So recently, Andrew Tate converted to Islam. So he's been meeting with a lot of Islamic leaders. He's Muslim now, and he's mostly received a lot of positive feedback in becoming Muslim. But there's been a couple of people that have pushed back on that. And one of those people is True Geordie. True Geordie is a relatively big YouTuber. He's got about 2 million subscribers on his main channel and about 500,000 on his second one. He does like fight podcasts and like just general YouTube stuff. But it's pretty well known that he doesn't like Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate certainly doesn't like him. So when True Geordie found out that Andrew Tate had converted to Islam, someone asked True Geordie if he would fight Andrew Tate, and this was his response.
Are you fighting Andrew Tate? Mate,
Andrew Tate got God on his side now. There's no way Brian would win that.
Although I would gladly blow myself up if I could take that fucking shitbag with us.
That's the use of a stereotype there, which is obviously not what he...
I'm just saying, if he really wants to prove it, do the right thing. Let's see how...
It's a stereotype.
Let's see how about that life you really are.
Yes, although, yeah. Not all Muslims.
So he's basically insinuating there that what Muslims do is they take planes and fly them into a building or blow themselves up. Obviously making a joke about Andrew Tate, a distasteful joke. You can kind of see in the clip, it looks like that awkward laugh is like him telling himself to shut up, but he just doubles down and keeps going. So Andrew Tate responded, and we'll react to Andrew Tate's response now as well. You haven't seen it, have you?
No.
There's not many people in the world I have a personal beef with. I've had some internet beefs back and forth. There's very few people I personally dislike. One of them is True Geordie. Anyone who's followed me long enough understands why. He's a very insulting, fat, vulgar. He's a dickhead. He's an unlikable person. He's not very smart. He's stupid. He has his little girlfriend who sits next to him. And they did a video about me long ago where they were insulting a bunch of women who worked for me, calling them horrible names. He made full-grown women cry. I replied and said that's a horrible thing to do and he should apologize. He refused to apologize because he was full of hate. Turns out the man was full of hate because he ended up begging for dildos off of a woman. The screenshots were leaked of him begging for dildos, begging to suck on them, begging to be cheated on because he likes to be dominated by females. He sits there, fat. That's why he eats so much, to try and pretend he's bigger than he is. He sits there fat, trying to convince the world it's muscle and that he's a tough guy. But truthfully, he begs to be dominated by females. So this person is genuinely a piece of shit. And now, after me converting to Islam, he made a piece on one of his podcasts saying that I'm not true in my conversion, and then insulted all Muslims. Then that Muslims blow themselves up, and that I should go blow myself up. We should all blow ourselves up, making fucking racist comments about an entire religion, as if that's somehow funny. Let me tell you something, my friend, and if True Geordie, if you're watching this is a message directly to you. There are certain times in life you need to know when to shut the fuck up. There are certain things which are not funny. Certain things are not beyond reprisal. You don't sit and insult a man's religion. Just like you don't insult a man's entire company and the people who work for him. That's one thing. But to insult my religion and the religion of billions of people across the fucking planet, making ignorant jokes about fucking blowing ourselves up, thinking that it's going to go without consequence, you're going to learn very quickly, my friend, that was a mistake.
So obviously Andrew Tate's not happy about True Geordie's comments. I imagine the Muslim community is not happy about True Geordie's comments. Honestly, I was pretty shocked to see him say that because he's someone that holds other YouTubers accountable for their behavior.
Right.
We've seen him hold Logan Paul accountable. We've seen him hold Jake Paul accountable. We've seen him hold a bunch of people and called them out. You know, he's even held Tyson Fury accountable for unrelated stuff. But the point is that he will always call people out on things that he perceives to be bullshit. So for him to have such a large audience and say something like that about a whole religion of people, I'm not saying that I want him cancelled. I definitely don't. I think you can always give someone a second chance for saying something stupid. Far be it from me to advocate for someone's cancellation. But it's a pretty wild thing to say about, you know, Muslim people. I'm not one to judge someone by their... Actually, that's not true. I've done that before, but I try not to. But I know True Geordie's content, and I don't dislike True Geordie. I mean, he said things I don't agree with. He's made content that I found a little bit annoying, but I don't dislike the guy at all. But I do think what he said was crazy. But just as we started filming this, he put out an apology video, or what I think is an apology video anyway. The video is titled I'm Sorry. So we're going to react to that because it's literally just come out as we started filming, and we'll just go from there.
Welcome back to the True Geordie podcast. So let's get straight into it. I've recently made a joke online and it's caused a reaction, upset. People are not happy with it. So me and Lars wanted to come on here, talk about it amongst ourselves. We were on the stream at the time that the joke was said by me. Wasn't.
Okay, let's just pause it for a second before he continues, because he keeps referring to it as a joke. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, it was a joke. I think it was a very distasteful joke. I do think he genuinely hates Andrew Tate, so I think there's probably a level of malice in there. I'm not going to comment on how he feels about the Muslim community, because that would be me making assumptions. It's hard to really say, because I've never heard True Geordie say something that mad before. It's really going to come down to what he says now. He's either going to double down, which I wouldn't be surprised if True Geordie doubled down on what he said, but his title says I'm sorry, so we'll see.
I don't know. I just don't know if you could refer to something like that as a joke, in my personal opinion, because if you look at something like what Ethan Klein was saying, that can't be classed as a joke. So why is that serious, but this can be considered a joke or seen as a joke? Like if somebody said something rude about anything that's to do with somebody else's culture, it's not a joke.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I've consumed a lot of Ethan Klein's content where he's being deliberately malicious towards groups of people or types of people, whatever. Yeah. I've never seen True Geordie say something like that before. No. So it might be genuine. He might genuinely have hate in his heart for Muslims, coupled with the fact that he hates Andrew Tate. So it might not be a joke, but I can't make that assumption. With Ethan Klein, it's a bit different, because I know where Ethan Klein stands. We all know where he stands. We know it wasn't a joke. Yeah. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to label him just yet.
I get that. I get exactly what you're saying, but just anyone, regardless if it's him or not, anyone who's going to make comments like that, it cannot be considered a joke. It's not funny. There's nothing funny about it, and it's rude.
Yeah, the thing is, people make some really disgusting jokes sometimes that we laugh at, and the thing is, what you find disgusting is going to change from person to person. For example, Dave Chappelle went on stage and made tons of jokes about trans people. Now, to us, they're funny, but to a trans person, they might be really, really they would say harmful or disgusting or whatever. So it's relative. That aside, I'm not going to brand him as Islamophobic yet. I mean, it was an Islamophobic joke, but that doesn't make up his whole character as a person. So I'm going to give him the chance to see what he says here. It's a 22-minute apology.
By me. Wasn't Lawrence's joke, was my joke, just to be absolutely clear. Just to sort of give context for it, an old friend of mine, we'll call him Mr. Potato Head for the sake of this podcast, because I know you'd be desperate for me to say his name.
That sounds trivial, but it's not.
It's just the way he is. He recently claimed to have joined Islam. Now,
I mean, that's stupid. We know you're talking about Andrew Tate. I don't think Andrew Tate is desperate for you to say his name. And this is not me taking Andrew Tate's side on this. But objectively, Andrew Tate is 10 times more popular than True Geordie, even with 2 million subscribers. Most people on this planet know who Andrew Tate is. Most people don't know who True Geordie is. That's just the reality of it. I don't know why he would say something like that.
I also don't know why he's calling Andrew Tate Mr. Potato Head, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That did seem trivial. Oh, well, let's just see what he says.
That absolutely contradict what a lot of Islam is about. I definitely didn't believe a lot of what I was hearing from the internet. I made a joke in questioning that newfound faith of his that conveniently comes at a time when he needs as many supporters as he can get. It was a stupid joke. As much as I don't want to repeat the joke, I think it's only right so that people have context who don't understand. I said if he really wants to prove he's a Muslim, he should blow himself up as a suicide bomber or something like that. Now, when I say that out loud, when I'm aware of it, fucking horrendous. It was one of those off-the-cuff remarks that I made with a total lack of thought, and I used an unrealistic stereotype to take aim at someone who seriously dislikes me. Obviously, I don't believe that's what Muslims actually do, and I don't actually want Mr. Potato Head to die, as much as I don't really like him. It was a very stupid thing to say. It was an idiotic joke, one I'm sorry for, I don't believe any religious stereotype, just to be clear, whether it be all priests are pedos or all Jewish people run the world and are rich. They're all as ridiculous as each other to me. And that was partly why I felt comfortable in that moment in saying something so ridiculous, because I never thought for 1 second that anyone would take offense to something so silly.
Right.
You know, at the time, I'm sat next to a guy who has a Muslim family who knows.
Really? Come on, dude. That's not a serious remark. He did not just say that. There's no way. There's no way. The thing is that he didn't just say it once. The joke was extended after his friend, I think his name's, I don't know what his name is, but after his friend said that it's not, he doesn't mean all Muslims. He just continued going. He knew what he was saying. Like, let's just keep it 100. I can forgive him for it. I'm not forgiving him on the part of Muslim people. That's for them to do. But I can look past it if you just own the fact that you made a shitty joke. I can even accept the fact that sometimes you say things off the cuff and you catch yourself and you go, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. But you kept going. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that.
I think he's seen the hate that he's getting online for it, and he knows he has to apologise for the sake of keeping his career going. I don't feel like this is a genuine, do you know what, I fucked up.
Yeah. And also, I'm just going to say, I hate to be the one to say this, but you can't look like True Geordie and then say something like that. Because you know how this looks. We all know how this looks. This is not a good look. And you just hit 2 million subscribers off the back of your Tyson Fury interview, which everyone gave you credit for. Yeah, but I can't co-sign what he just said. I think that's bullshit.
Who knows how much love I have for everyone? Like, you know, I'm not a prejudiced guy or whatever you want to call me. Is that right? Prejudice.
Prejudice is definitely
but now after like feeling out the backlash and what people are saying, and I'm talking about the genuinely upset people. I know some people will just use anything to try and take you down, and I've given them a golden opportunity. But I understand, like, some people have had that thrown in their face a lot, and for me, as much as it's ridiculous and it's something that I don't believe, I understand that for them, some people have had years of that being said to them, you know, and I really wasn't thinking about that in that moment. So yeah, all I can say is sorry.
When I was sitting there, I guess when I watched it back, I was like, oh, maybe I should have said something there, even just as a friend, just to be like, oh, you can't say that. But
the problem for you is you know me so well.
Bro, if I flagged everything...
You think your wife is Muslim, bro?
Is it?
His wife's Muslim.
That's even worse.
Bro, like, his reaction was so tame. Like, he came off looking like an idiot as well. I'm sorry to say. Like, I have nothing against this guy or whatsoever. He's never said or done anything that would make me dislike him. But in that moment, I was looking sideways. Sorry, if my girl was Muslim and you're there cussing out Muslims, we're going to have an argument on camera.
Yeah, but I think it's also as well, just if you're a content creator, it's about knowing what you're saying online and protecting yourself as well.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, that whole 20 seconds was just a shit show if I've ever seen one. And I'm not going to say that they should be taken down, either of them, over a singular mistake. But this all seems a bit stupid to me. For two people that have operated at a very high level on YouTube for a very long time, with that many subscribers, that many people watching their stuff, they should know better than that. I guarantee I'm going to eat my words one day. Someone's going to clip this and come back and look at this guy chatting shit.
We wouldn't get a live stream done. No, yeah. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, right? You know, and that's the difference is you know, but they don't know.
I know where
I get that.
I know where you're coming from, but I think, especially as a podcaster, and I think as people who, like, at least you aspire to speak for a living, if you misspeak sometimes, or you say something that you don't fully understand at that point, it's also good to acknowledge that.
You know, I've got people who I love and respect who are Muslim who may see that and think, oh, so that's how he thinks about us.
Right, like this is like the real...
Yeah, the face has slipped, and it's like, God, like, I would hate for that, you know?
Do you ever consider, I'm not trying to like put you to the sword here, but do you ever consider sort of like your own biases and your own prejudices? Because especially in my own marriage, like, I think I've been forced to look at what my biases and prejudices were against Islam. And I like went into a marriage thinking I understood it in that sense. And I went into a long-term relationship like that. And actually I didn't. And actually I realized down the years that a lot of what I thought was either wrong or what you would call bigoted to an extent, where it was just like, it was a negative view of someone that I had never questioned because it had always just felt very apparent to me. And that's where the, like, you know, the whole, these people blow themselves up things sometimes come from, is because that is what's reinforced to a lot of people. And that is on like the tip of your tongue sometimes, because sometimes it seems like a funny thing to say.
For me, that was like an unrealistic way.
It felt hyperbolic.
Well, yeah, because what I'm trying to say is, Mr. Potato Head should fuck off. Unfortunately, to say he should pray 5 times a day doesn't quite have the witty, bitey joke that I was looking for. I am not questioning religion. I was simply making a joke at the time about him and religion.
I understand that.
The point is I make ignorant jokes about many different things on a daily basis, and I'm online at all times. But certain things are more sensitive to certain people than others.
And some of those things also, they reinforce stereotypes or Islamic tropes or Islamophobic tropes. And there might be some people out there who would have, they see you the way you look, they would assume that your background would be Islamophobic, that you'd probably be a fairly xenophobic, would not be particularly there for foreigners.
I dated a Muslim girl once, and she said, I'm very surprised that you're interested in me because you look like the guys who used to bully me in high school.
Right.
And that was like a what the fuck moment for me. But look, I'm not trying to reinforce any stereotype.
I got home, my wife had been sent this clip hundreds of times at this point.
Okay.
Kind of saying...
Apologies for that to her, by the way.
Yeah.
And your family.
That was what made me emotional about it. I got to be honest. Like when we thought about doing a podcast, I thought it might be another one where I sort of cry or something, because I had a little time where I did think, God, I was questioning myself for a minute. I was like, should I have sat on a stream next to you and gone, what? Like, and you know what it's like when you're in the flow of a stream. Should I have sat next to you and gone, whoa, Brian, what are you saying? Like, I felt like I'd let, in some extent, I felt like I'd let you down, but I'd also felt like I'd let my own family down because of the...
I mean, your babies are Muslim, bro.
But that's what I'm saying
but for me...
You let your wife down, bro. Forget True Geordie. Like, he's a grown man. He's responsible for his own behavior. But that's your wife, and I think he's got kids with her. So, you let your wife down, like, 100%.
It's coming across as he's very, very embarrassed.
Yeah.
If that many people have seen it and sent it to his wife and can see that it's him in the video not doing anything about it, and he just sat there and didn't do nothing, I reckon he's had the biggest bollocking as well.
Yeah, because Muslim people catch a lot of hate from a lot of different places, and it's a lot of it is unjustified because they use the very fringe parts of the religion, the people that the majority of Muslims don't support, as a talking point, as for things like this. And I get jokes. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we don't make jokes off camera, or you guys at home don't make jokes that you don't want anyone else to hear. Problem is that when you say them out loud, some of them about certain groups of people can really get you in some serious trouble. We all make jokes. Let's not pretend. We all make jokes about races, about religions. I know you're smiling because you make your own jokes. I make my jokes as well. There's things that I will not be caught dead saying on camera. We've all seen WhatsApp conversations and whatnot. So I'm not going to sit here and act holier than thou and put these guys to the fireplace or whatever. But you've got to be more responsible with that many subscribers. Can't say, and then your wife is, oh man, I can't even imagine walking through the front door and being this guy and having to look your wife in the face. I don't even know what I would say in that point. Your manhood has been tested.
I think it's evident as well.
Yeah, his wife is watching this and she's got a wooden spoon and he's like, you better get this right.
Knowing that is like, when Lawrence's son was born, it meant a lot, to me. And to think that anyone would think that that's like a thing that's in me, when I have so much like love for your family. It was just such a stupid moment, and do
you know what? This is what is really deep about it. That's your friend.
Yeah. Andrew Tate's sitting at home right now with a cigar in his mouth and I've won.
I've been put on the planet for a very specific reason. And I've been put on the planet to humble you.
But he has though.
This is what they were saying. It's like Andrew Tate's playing chess and everyone's playing checkers. It's like he walks straight into a trap. Like now True Geordie is crying on camera. And I get it. He's dishonored his friend's wife, himself, insulted the whole community. He's potentially cost himself money, sponsorships, God knows what else. I understand. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here holier than thou. There'll come a day where I say some dumb shit on camera and I'm going to get in trouble as well. So I'm not sitting here pretending like I'm always on the ball shit that comes out of my mouth. But I mean, you have to try and be more responsible. This is probably why we don't live stream. If you're on a live stream, man, just chill. Just chill. If you hate Andrew Tate, just attack Andrew Tate.
As well, just think before you speak. Because once you say it and you're on a live stream, there's no taking it back. And there's so many people watching, so many people recording as well. You're literally fucked. So I just think as a human, anyway in life, you should think before you speak and think about how what you might say might affect the person that you're saying it to as well.
Yeah, especially it was just weird because his friend's wife is Muslim. I don't make any concessions for people that are racist anyway, but it's a bit weirder when you're so closely connected to that community and then you come out and say that. That's a bit of a weird thing to say. It's like me coming here and then making off-the-hand Turkish jokes constantly.
Yeah. You know what it is as well? It's like I can guarantee you that when they finished that live stream, before any backlash happened, he wouldn't have said like, oh, mate, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Mate, that was a joke. I hope you didn't take offense. To his friend.
I think he probably did. I think the live stream ended and he was probably rubbing his bald head and he was like, fuck, man, what have I done? He probably knew the backlash was coming. There's no way. Especially because of the amount of fans Andrew Tate has got. They were going to clip that. That was going to be all over TikTok within the next 5 minutes. And it's viral now. Like millions of people have seen that clip.
And that's when I thought about people like Gibb, you know, like people who I do rate and respect, who would think and see that and think, what is he?
What does he really think in that sense?
Yeah, because it's just not who I am, you know. And I realised that, you know, I'm a cocky guy and I say a lot of silly jokes and I love myself to a degree and I get lost in that sometimes.
And sometimes you enjoy upsetting people.
No, I absolutely do, and I'm not disputing that, you know. Like, and unfortunately, classing yourself as somewhat a semi-comedian who wants to make people laugh, I accept that every single video that goes out, I'm going to piss some people off. But often my feeling is, but they need to grow the fuck up and realize that this is a joke. The problem is when you touch on something that is so sensitive and that you don't, in that moment, process it in that way, and you're like, this is ridiculous. No one's actually going to take me seriously. You're just not thinking it through, you know. Mm-hmm. And hey, I am truly, truly, deeply sorry to anyone who seen that, Muslim or not, and thought that this guy has hate for anyone out there, because I just don't. Honestly, you know, some people who know me, close to me, may one day come out and say Brian is a dickhead, but I'd be stunned if anyone said I was a prejudiced person who had anything against any skin color, any sexuality, any religion. Because honestly, I don't give a fuck what anyone is. I really don't. And I'm not going to go down the road of I've got black friends or anything like that. It's just everything about me is I embrace difference, generally speaking, and despite me being ignorant, you know. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, man.
I think being able to have an honest conversation on your own podcast about it is.
I just don't want to run away from anything ever.
I get that.
And I think when I look at other people who've done that, it just makes you look guilty, you know. And I'm not guilty of any of the true thoughts and feelings that some like. It makes you look guilty, and I'm not someone who is guilty of feeling that way. I just make stupid jokes sometimes, and I've got to be better. I'm a grown-ass man now, and I will be better. But yeah,
I can appreciate that.
I'm still learning, mate. I'm still fucking learning, you know. Just when I think I've got when you think you have everything figured out, or to a degree, you feel like you've got a good beat on things, and it's so funny because in that Tyson Fury interview, I literally say at the start, you're all saying I'm a hero now, but next week you'll be all calling me a twat, and literally right on cue, here we are. But that's the way life is. It
like,
really
that's
is,
pride
man.
before a fall sort of
Mate,
thing.
it's so
like
fucking.
Kind of
but even then, I knew it, and I still fucking made that mistake. Ugh.
Live streams, just live streams, man.
I do feel bad for him a bit, because I know how hard True Geordie has worked to get his brand to where it is now. So to be derailed for that comment, it's a stupid thing to say. It's a bit shocking given how long he's been on YouTube. I just don't really understand how it happened. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, your friend is sitting next to you and his wife is Muslim. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if we would have seen an apology if there wasn't such monumental backlash for this.
Okay, so I think maybe in the moment he probably didn't realize what he was saying. Like, he was just sort of heat of the moment saying what he's saying, and I think he was just too focused on Andrew Tate that he's let everything else get the better of him. Do I think there would have been an apology video if he didn't get the backlash? No. However, maybe he wouldn't have realized how wrong he was and how bad he did if he didn't get the backlash. So maybe getting all of that has made him realize, you know what, shit, this was very bad of me. And he's realized it. He does seem actually quite genuine now watching it as well. He seems like he's really like thought long and hard and understands himself as a person, what he's done and where he needs to, like he's saying, learn. He's still learning. So I think the backlash has showed him what he's done, and he regrets it and he's sorry.
Yeah, I do think he regrets it. I don't want to throw True Geordie under the bus, because I watch True Geordie and I like him. I like his content, you know. So I don't want to throw him under the bus for this. But I don't think that this is going to go away overnight. I don't think people are going to forgive him so easily. Also, because he's entangled in a war with Andrew Tate right now. And Andrew Tate, as we know, has got a very devout following. And now that he's a part of the Islamic community, that's going to make this even harder for those people to digest, especially because that's a kind of trope that is reinforced on them. But like I said, I think I would have preferred it if True Geordie came out and said, look, we all say stuff off camera. I said it on camera. I understand how that goes out into the wider world. Because like I said before, as much as people can pretend to be squeaky clean, we all know what goes on behind closed doors. Or we don't, but we have a rough idea. I can forgive him for letting something slip. I do find it a bit weird that his friend sitting right next to him has a Muslim wife and he's involved with that family. I do find that a bit odd, how you don't put two and two together, but I can let this go. I don't know if Muslims are going to let it go, but I can let it go. Once
some new news happens, it will die down and no one will actually care anymore.
I don't want to see his whole career derailed over this, but
I don't. You know. I think if it will, his subscribers would have reflected that, but it hasn't.
Yeah, he's still on 2 million. When this video finishes, I'm going to refresh the page to see if it's gone down.
Yeah.
Just live streams.
Look, I just want to say again, I am sorry to your family.
Hey, I appreciate what you said, and it means a lot to me that you thought about those guys.
That really upsets me, like, honestly. I feel such a...
How are we falling into this stereotype of two podcasters who cry when they say sorry for things?
White guys, man.
Just, no, it is genuinely that. God, just check your privilege for a second. I get what you're saying, and I appreciate that. And I think a lot of people will also appreciate the same. And you know what? Maybe it might take a bit of time for some people to appreciate that as well, or come around to hearing it. But
sometimes you just need to fuck up to remind yourself, come on, mate. You need to sort your shit out a bit here and think about what you're saying and who's listening and how you might upset people. And I always want to make jokes, but I never want to make jokes that are going to turn that many people to feel that way about me.
Damage a relationship.
Yeah, I just don't, you know what I mean?
And I think you appreciate there's been people that have reached out to you and have said, hey, I had a problem with this, and I appreciate the same people.
Oh, yeah, we've had lots of messages, and I think those genuine ones, those genuine people who are trying to keep us on the straight and narrow, I'm grateful. Okay. That is part of in my opinion, one of the most important things is to admit your flaws to yourself and to face them head on and to go, this is me, you know, and I need to then look at what I need to do to improve those things that I don't like about me so much. And when I talk about living with regrets, that to me is a big thing where I often just sit and that is one of the worst things about my personality, probably, is dwelling on the fuck, why did I do that? Right. Why did I do this? But it is so important to learn to do that, I think, and to figure out who you are, because only then can you actually figure out who you want to be with, you know, and how to be a better man for that person. Like, take dating, for example, you know. Like, I think when I was young, when I would be on a date with a girl, I'd just be like, let me say whatever the fuck I've got to say to get you into bed with me.
Are you showing different aspects of your own personality that are appealing, maybe?
I'm not being authentic, right? Okay. There'll be times where I'm I am being authentic. But when it's time to not be authentic, I'll do what it takes.
You do whatever to have sex with
the pretty girl.
A pretty person.
Okay. So now I'm going to I'm going to be a lot more like real and just be like, I'm looking for a real one right now. I'm looking for that person, right? So what I don't want to do is waste your time and mine by pretending I'm someone I'm not, for then 5 months down the road for you to realize, actually, this guy's not my kind of guy. Like, right. I'm willing to sacrifice that
frivolous sex or whatever it is.
For you to know the real me to know the real you. And that's where I'm feeling I'm coming in to be really being a man now, is being the real me and opening up that and owning that and just saying, here's who I am. To everyone, to the world, like if whoever's watching this fucking podcast, but also to a prospective partner, is to say, I don't mind if that's not for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for someone who absolutely loves what I am. And I'm not trying to hide the bad stuff. I'm just being me. And once you become okay with that, because you know deep down in your heart you're a good person, that's where you connect with someone and make a much deeper connection and bond, you know. And
you're very clear about who you are in any one moment, right? But you've gone through such an immense level of change over the last few years. People who watched the podcast in the beginning were at the 2 million sub thing. Let's be a little reflective.
I like that. That's a good idea.
People who would have watched the podcast in the beginning, I think physically and mentally, see almost a whole other person. Sometimes when you meet a woman, people will change. Do you know what I mean? How do you see that? Are you talking about finding something more meaningful with meaningful with someone else, where you're like genuinely, you would change too, not necessarily knowingly though. Do you know what I mean?
No, knowingly I would, and I'd be happy to do that. I think that's where
I feel like they're digressing a lot here.
Majorly.
This is where like this apology is gonna lose me, because I've been watching True Geordie for a long time. I don't need him to tell me how he has progressed and how he has changed from how he used to bed women to how he's being real now. He doesn't need to do this to win people over. He needs to say sorry, which he's done. He needs to accept the fact that he's offended a whole religion and other people as well, and just own it. Now what he's trying to do, in my opinion, is he's trying to say, look, I'm a good guy. I have evolved over time. It's unnecessary in my opinion.
It's just all irrelevant,
Yeah, this is what will turn people off of something like this. It almost makes you not want to watch the next 7 minutes of this. I don't need to hear any of this. I heard what you said. I've consumed your content. I'll make my own judgment, irregardless of the rest of this video. Now, this is all irrelevant. This is almost like, it feels like a sob story now.
Yeah, because regardless of what you were, what you are now, how much you've changed, how far you've come, it doesn't change the fact that you've said what you said, you're apologizing for it, and that's that.
Yeah, I can accept that we all fumble, and I can accept that people grow. But with these sort of things, you just own it and you keep it moving. You don't have to go through your life story now of how you changed as a person. And no one really gives a shit. People are not going to, that's not going to resonate with people, in my opinion anyway. It's not resonating with me.
Yeah, it's not resonating with me either.
That's where my head's at now, is like just to be in a place of, to be in a truly content relationship where I feel I am appreciated and I appreciate that person and accept everything about them and they accept me for who I am, you know. And I've had a lot of good experiences in the past. I'm not saying I haven't, but it's just, I'm just at a point where I feel like I've got a lot of great years ahead of me and I just want to spend them with that one special person, you know.
Yeah, right.
And
I really have no clue what this has to do with the whole Muslim thing.
Yeah.
Is he gonna say that he's gonna date a Muslim girl now to make amends? I don't get where this is going. Literally no one cares about who he wants to spend his life with. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. I wish him all the best with whoever he gets with, but this has nothing to do with him fumbling the bag and insulting Muslims.
Yeah, I've just completely lost interest in the whole video now.
I miss my mum. And And in missing her, I mean, I miss her every day, you know, but what she brought to my life and who she was, you know, that serious level of devotion that I had with her, I had a great love there, you know, and I want another great love in my life, and it's difficult because we're all out here, people are dating each other, and you're trying to find that meaning and that special person, you know, and it is difficult. But I have a lot of moments where I just want to pick the phone up. And it's hard, you know. And I just feel like mentally I'm in a good place in that sense to cut the immature bullshit, you know, and settle with someone, and settle's not the right word, you know, but to give someone the love that I give to my mum, you know, and yeah, I feel like that's sort of dawning on me more as I'm getting older now. I'm like, okay, I see what's missing here, you know. To know someone has your back 1,000,000%, it's an amazing feling. And that,
I'm not going to sit here and shit on someone for missing their mum. I can't imagine how difficult that would be. But again, I just don't know what this has to do with the apology.
It is exactly what you're saying. It's a sob story to try and justify and make people feel sorry for him and feel all the emotions towards him because he fucked up.
Yeah, because I don't like seeing a grown man cry about their mum, because I can imagine how difficult it is losing someone like that in your life. But I hate saying this because I don't like looking at someone crying about their mum, but it almost seems distasteful to bring this up during a time where you've caused outrage amongst the whole community. Whether or not I think what you said was minor or a big deal is really besides the point. You've offended Muslims. I'm kind of lost at why we're talking about his mum. And that's no disrespect to his mum at all. It's no disrespect to him as a person. Like I said, that feeling must be overwhelming to lose your mum for anyone. But I'm a bit confused at what's going on here.
Sort of, you know, you can have a lot of fun with a lot of people, but that's something that's a 1 in a million, isn't it? So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and I think that's why I'm sort of emotional generally. It's weird, but like it's been years, but I'm still having those feelings of like I just wish I could tell her that this happened today or that happened today, you know. And I think that's what's bringing this out of me of like, mate, you need to cut the shit and you need to be real with people, no matter what. And my mum always said about me, I remember she said something to someone once about me who was criticising me to her. I think it was my grandparents, actually. And she said, you can say what you want about Brian, but what you see is what you get. And that was me. As a young man, you know, so I'm determined to live up to that and be true and just let it all out, no matter what the fuck I've done or said or anything, and let people see the real me. And I believe that if I do that, people won't be left with any doubts with who I am. And I'm not scared of anything, mate. And I mean that. Like, I'm not afraid. I'm quite happy to be completely and utterly naked to the world of who I am, because I know deep in my heart, like, I'm not perfect, but if people explored every corner of my mind, they would understand, like, this guy's all right. You know what I mean? Am I kinky? Maybe. You know, am I fucking Am I stupid? Do I make stupid jokes? Yeah. Am I occasionally bad-tempered? Yes. But overall, I'm a loving person, you know, and I want to look after the people around me. So, yeah, I'm just at that point in my life now where I'm very clear in who I am and what the fuck I'm about and what I want. So, yeah. Oh, this has been a long one. It feels like it has.
I don't think it's been that long, but I think you put a lot in there.
Yeah.
This is that. That 2 million celebration that we always promise ourselves.
We did it.
Cheers, guys.
Hooray.
Here's to teetotal 2 million.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, as soon as these cameras off, I'm getting a stiff drink. All right. I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. So it's been, I think that's the point, is it's been a real, there's a lot of bumps in that road.
So yeah, that Mr. Potato Head guy, I'll not be mentioning him anymore because, again, I don't give a shit really. Like, good luck to him, good luck to his fans. Enjoy yourselves, and
the estate agency goes well.
And genuinely, like, I'm just trying to be a better person. So, you know, appreciate all the support, and again, apologies if I.
When you upset people.
Apologies for being a dickhead. But honestly, I hope people learn something about me in this podcast. And on to the next one. Another million, hopefully. 3 million. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I feel like you're cut out for that.
Am I a 3 million kind of guy?
I feel like you're more like a 5.
We'll see. Okay. I will end this because I keep rambling. But thanks again, guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And subscribe. Thanks a lot. I'll see you there.
Do you think Andrew Tate will respond to this?
Yeah, probably. He's going to take the piss out of him. There's a couple things. I can forgive True Geordie for what he said. I don't like this apology video at all, though. It should have been clear and concise. We didn't need to hear about his mum. As much I have respect for anyone that has lost their mum, to give them that courtesy, but we didn't need to hear that. I understand, when you go through something that is really difficult to process, you start connecting dots. And I can get how in private you can connect this back to your mum and her not being there to give you the guidance you need, or whatever he was doing. It kind of lost me. But that is something that should have been done in private. That did not need to be on film. I think this apology video completely missed the mark. It should have been 5 minutes maximum.
I think though with the way he ended it, he was just he said hopefully people have learned a little bit about me. So I don't know if he was just trying to give that sort of still 2 million backstory of him as a person.
But I just don't think that people needed to, because he does a podcast. I don't think it was a time or place for it. This could have been a separate thing, and then especially at the end talking about the numbers. Like, will we get to 3 million? Like and subscribe. It's not that kind of video, bro. Like, I think you really did miss the mark on this one. But I'm not going to condemn True Geordie. Everyone else might, but I think everyone deserves a second chance. I have never seen him blunder before. Maybe I missed it. So I'm not going to throw him completely under the bus. I don't think he should be cancelled for it. I hope he doesn't lose his subscribers for it. But it was an incredibly stupid thing to say. It was obviously insensitive given your friend's wife is Muslim and he's got Muslim kids. You now have to look in the face, and that's always going to be in the back of their heads now. Always going to be there. And then, obviously talking about the other things where he digressed about women that he slept with and find the special one and his mum. It missed the mark, in my opinion, but I don't really have anything else to say on it.
Yeah, no, me either.